Your jacket's still hanging on the back of the chair, like you might walk in and find it there. The coffee mugs sit on their usual side, but mornings feel wider since you said goodbye. Is it not the loud absence that tears me apart? It's the quiet reminder still living in my heart. It's the space you left behind that I feel the most, in empty rooms and familiar ghosts. There's a gap in the rhythm of my everyday mind. It's the space you left behind that rewinds. I reach for my phone like you're still on the line. Forget for a second you're no longer mine. Even silence sounds different without you near, like echoes are louder when no one's here. I thought I'd get used to it, that time would be kind, but time just makes clearer. It's the space you left behind, in the bed, in the air, in the way I still turn like you're standing there. I didn't need perfection or something divine, but love shouldn't vanish and leave this kind of sign. Maybe one day it won't ache this way. Maybe the emptiness will soften with days, but right now the quiet still carries your name, and absence has weight even without blame. It's a space you left behind that taught me what's true. Love leaves imprints long after you. I'll rush the healing or pretend I'm fine. It's a space you left behind that reminds. No dramatic ending, no last rewind, just learning to live with the space you left behind. The kettle still whistles at the same time each day, steam rising slowly like words we didn't say. 2 cups in the cabinet, but I only use one. Mornings feel longer since you've been gone. It's not the big moments that catch me off guard. It's ordinary rituals that hit too hard. It's the silence in my kitchen that echoes your name in the clink of a spoon and the hum of the rain. There's space at the table where your laughter had been. It's the silence in my kitchen, settling in. I used to hear your footsteps before I turn around. Now every little movement is just how sound. I cook like I'm still waiting for you to taste and smile, forgetting for a second it's been a while. I thought I'd miss the grand thing, the obvious goodbye, but it's a small familiar that makes me cry. It's the silence in my kitchen that feels the most real, not dramatic heartbreak, just the way to leave. I didn't need forever, carved in stone or planned, but love shouldn't vanish from something so simple and grand. Maybe one day this room won't carry a trace, maybe new memories will fill this space, but right now the quiet is louder than I thought, because absence in small places is what hurts a lot. It's the silence in my kitchen that taught me the cost, how love can linger even when it's lost. I won't rush the healing or pretend it's thin. It's the silence in my kitchen that I'm learning to sit in, that I'm learning to sit in. I'm learning to sit in. One cup on the counter, one chair pulled in, just me and the quiet in my kitchen. I don't miss you loudly, don't wake up calling your name. It's not that kind of heartbreak or unfinished flame. It's softer than that now, quieter than before. Just certain little moments that knock on the door. It's not about wanting to turn back time, it's just remembering when you were mine. It's a different kind of missing, not desperate, not wild, not begging for your footsteps to echo down the aisle. It's the calm, familiar absence that lingers in between. It's a different kind of missing, soft and unseen. Play the arguments or wonder who was right. I just miss the way we talk in the middle of the night. I miss the simple laughter comfort in your tone, not enough to want you back, just enough to feel alone. I thought missing meant wanting you near. I didn't know it could exist without the fear. It's a different kind of missing, not something to fix, not a wound that's bleeding or a memory that's still. It's just the space you shaped inside of me, a quiet reminder of what used to be. Maybe this is healing, maybe this is growth, learning you can miss someone without wanting both, without reopening doors or rewriting the past, just honoring the love that didn't last. It's a different kind of missing, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't pull me backward or blur where I'm at. I can carry the memory and still move on. It's a different kind of missing, gentle and strong. No tears in my eyes, no storm to dismiss, just this quiet, steady, different kind of mess. I used to tell you everything, every thought that crossed my mind, every fear at 2 a.m. I couldn't leave behind. You knew the smallest details, the things I never say aloud, back when being vulnerable made me feel proud. Somewhere in the changes between then and now, I stopped reaching for you the way I knew how. I used to tell you everything, now I hesitate, measuring my words like they carry weight. There are stories in my chest I no longer bring. I used to tell you everything, about everything. You listen without rushing, at least you used to do. But somewhere in the silence, I stopped feeling hurt by you. So I kept my questions folded, kept my doubts contained, because repeating myself started feeling strange. I confused your presence with being understood. I didn't know closeness could fade this quite good. I used to tell you everything without fear or pause. Now I filter feeling and swallow the cause. I didn't need perfect answers or flawless sympathy, just someone who still leans into me. Maybe you didn't notice how how far I pulled away, how sharing felt heavier day by day. When the safest place stops feeling safe, you learn to guard what you can't replace. I used to tell you everything, but now I keep it mine. Not out of anger, just a silent line. I won't stay where open air feels like a risk. I used to tell you everything, and I miss it. No dramatic ending, no blame to bring. I used to tell you everything, and that was everything. You didn't raise your voice, didn't turn away in haste. You spoke like someone careful, not to leave a trace. You said it wasn't anger, just something you couldn't hold. Like love had changed its shape without growing cold. I almost wished you'd hurt me, giving me a reason to fight. Because gentle endings still in the night. Your goodbye was gentle, soft against my skin. No shattered promises, no dramatic win. You held my hands lightly and let them go slow. Your goodbye was gentle, and that's what hurt the most. You thanked me for the memory, for the time we had, like love was something beautiful we simply outgrew. There were tears in your silence, but certainty too. And sometimes the kindest truth is the hardest to move. I confused tenderness with hope that you'd stay. I didn't know softness could still walk away. Your goodbye was gentle, no blame to defend, just two hearts acknowledging this was the end. I didn't need cruelty or words that impose, but gentle goodbye, still closed doors. Maybe that's why it lingered, why it echoed so long, because nothing about it felt wrong. There was love in the leaving, respecting your tone, and that makes healing a slower road. Your goodbye was gentle, and I won't rewrite it now. Not into something harsher, just to ask how, if love had to end. I'm grateful it was so. Your goodbye was gentle, and I let you go. No anger between us, was gentle, and I chose. Your goodbye was gentle, and I chose. It wasn't some dramatic morning, no thunder in the sky, just coffee getting colder while I watched the time go by. I used to check my phone first before I'd start the day, but something in me shifted and quietly said, okay. There's a point where hope turns into delay, and loving someone means walking away. It was the day I stopped waiting for words you wouldn't send, for effort that arrived only at the end. There was freedom in the silence where expectation used to stay. It was the day I stopped waiting and chose my own way. I stopped rereading promises that never fully came. Stop defending distance like it wasn't the same. You said you needed time, but time was all I gave. And I won't lose my life trying to be brave. I confused patience with holding on alone. I didn't know letting go could feel like coming home. It was the day I stopped waiting, and everything felt like no more standing still for a love that wouldn't fight. I didn't need closure or some grand display. It was the day I stopped waiting and walked away. Maybe you thought I'd always stay near, that my love would outlast your hesitation and fear. But even the strongest heart learns what it can't sustain. Peace doesn't ask to remain. It was the day I stopped waiting, and I don't regret it now. Some goodbyes don't shout, they just allow. I won't pause my future for someone undecided. It was the day I stopped waiting, and I decided no anger in my leaving, no bitterness in me. It was the day I stopped waiting, and I felt free. We woke up at the same time, said the same good morning, kissed without looking, like it was just forming. Dinner at 7, TV till 10. We called it stability. Again and again, I thought calm and healthy, the normal meant strong. I didn't see how comfort can last too long. We lost ourselves in routine, somewhere in between the love we used to feel and the love we'd pretend. There was no loud breaking, no dramatic scene. We lost ourselves in routine, unseen. We stopped asking questions about who we become. Stop dreaming out loud like we used to when young. You said this is just life, that it's meant to become. But calm shouldn't mean we're already gone. I confuse repetition with something secure. I didn't know stillness could slowly obscure. We lost ourselves in routine, in schedules and plans, in practical living and holding hands. I didn't need care or constant spark, but love shouldn't fade in the dark. Maybe we were tired, maybe just afraid of shaking the pattern we carefully made. Because breaking routine means facing what's true, and truth can't undo what feels safe to you. We lost ourselves in routine, and now I see it clear. Love needs intention to stay here. I won't disappear and normal again. We lost ourselves in routine, and that was the end. No villain to blame, no one to accuse. We lost ourselves in routine, and slowly we chose. I could hold it together while the sun was high, keep my voice steady when someone asked me why. I'd fill up the silence with noise and light, but everything changes when it turns to night. There's something about darkness that tells the truth, when distractions fade and it's just me and you. My heart felt heavier at night when the room went still, when your absence echoed in every quiet chill. There was weight in the shadows I couldn't outrun. My heart felt heavier at night when the day was done. through old pictures like they soften the blow. Replay conversations from months ago. I told myself I'm healing, that I'll be alright, but healing feels slower under moonlight. I confuse staying busy with letting it go. I didn't know nightfall would make it show. My heart felt heavier at night, with no one to impress, no laughter to cover the loneliness. I didn't need answers or something to fight, just someone to hold me through the night. Maybe mornings will lighten what darkness reveals. Maybe time will steady what this silence feels. But right now the quiet is louder than light, and truth comes clearer at night. My heart felt heavier at night, but I let it be, because pain acknowledged is part of being free. I won't numb the feeling or hide from the sight. My heart felt heavy at night, and that's alright. No tears left to hide, no need to fight, just me in this way. At night. You thought I was still there, the way I used to be. Still fighting for the future, still asking you to see. But I was folding inward every time you withdrew. You were leaving slowly, and I was too. I didn't slam a door, didn't make a sound. I just stopped reaching when you weren't around. You didn't notice I was leaving too, in the quiet of my eyes, in the way I stopped explaining my whys. There was distance in my silence you never knew. You were walking away, and I was walking too. I stopped bringing up the hard things, stopped asking for repair, because talking walls feels like talking, yeah. You said I seem calmer, like things were okay. But calm can be the moment before you drift away. I confuse accepting with staying strong. I didn't know letting go could take this long. You didn't notice I was leaving too, Didn't need a villain or something to undo. You were halfway gone, and I was halfway too. Maybe you thought I'd always remain, and my love would stretch through every strain. But even the strongest heart learns when it's through. And I was quietly saying goodbye too. You didn't notice I was leaving too until I finally stood. Not out of anger, just because I should. There's no blame between us, just truth coming through. You didn't notice I was leaving too, but I knew. No dramatic scene, no last breakthrough. You didn't notice I was leaving too. I tried to hold it steady, tried to keep it warm, protected what we built from every storm. But something kept on shifting. I couldn't understand. No matter how I held it, it slipped through my hands. I tightened my grip gently, afraid to lose control. But love was never meant to be forced to hold. Love slipped through my hands like water in the night. The more I tried to save it, the less it felt right. There was history between us, memories that stand, but love slipped through my hands unplanned. Unplanned. You said it wasn't ending, just changing its shape. But I felt something fading on, we couldn't escape. I kept calling it patience, calling it phase. But slipping love doesn't always blaze. I confuse holding tighter with keeping it alive. I didn't know love needs two to survive. Love slipped through my hands, even while you were near, even while we said there's nothing to fear. I didn't need perfection or some grand plan, just someone reaching back when I reached out my hand. Maybe we both felt it, but didn't speak the truth, because saying it aloud would make it lose. But silence can't stop what's already planned, and love can't stay on one set of hands. Love slipped through my hands, and I finally let it go. Not because I didn't care, but because I knew if it was meant to stay, it would have stood. Love slipped through my hands, and I understood. No anger in my palms, like sin. It wasn't a loud decision, no speech, no grand display, just smaller compromises I stopped making each day. I didn't argue harder, didn't try to convince. I just began protecting what felt different within. There's a shift that happens softly when you finally see that loving someone else shouldn't cost loving me. I started choosing myself quietly in ways you couldn't see, and boundaries I drew without apology. There was peace in the silence where chaos used to be. I started choosing myself quietly, and that set me free. I stopped chasing explanations, stopped proving I was right, stopped carrying the weight of every fight. You thought I was distant, maybe I was too, but distance can mean coming back to you, back to the part of me I'm almost misplaced, back to my voice and my space. I confused sacrifice with being strong before. Now I know self-respect is closing the door. I started choosing myself quietly, without blame or war, without rewriting history or keeping score. I didn't need revenge or something loudly. I started choosing myself proudly. Maybe you won't notice when I finally leave, because I've already let go internally. Sometimes the real goodbye happens long before, when you choose your heart over the familiar. I started choosing myself quietly, and I won't turn back now. I've learned that peace is a sacred vow. No more shrinking softly to fit somebody else's seat. I started choosing myself quietly, and I choose me. No announcement needed, no audience to see. I started choosing myself quietly, and that's enough for me. We said it's just a phase, like that would make it smooth, like naming it temporary meant nothing's wrong at all. We laughed in front of strangers, held hands in public light, but something in the quiet didn't feel right. I thought if we ignored it, it wouldn't grow. I didn't know silence still lets things show. We pretended it was fine, like distance wasn't there, like shorter conversations were just thin air. There was tension in the stillness we chose to underline. We pretended it was fine every time. You'd say don't overthink it, I'd say I'm okay, but both of us were drifting further each day. We stopped asking questions we didn't want confirmed, because once you face the truth, there's no return. I confused being calm with keeping peace. I didn't know denial doesn't decrease. We pretended it was fine, till pretending felt real, till habit replaced how we used to feel. I didn't need perfection or something divine, but love can't survive on its fine. Maybe we were scared of breaking the frame, of saying out loud that something had changed, because truth has weight and pretending is light. But light things don't last through the night. We pretended it was fine, and that was the cost. Not one big mistake, just slowly lost. I won't call silence healthy or distance aside. We pretended it was fine, but it wasn't fine. No villain to blame, no villain to blame, no grand design. We pretended it was fine, and crossed the line. You said I love you softly like you always do. Same tone, same timing, nothing new. But something in my chest didn't move the same. It echoed in the room, then fell away. I wanted to feel it like I did before, but meaning can fade even when words are short. Your words didn't land the same. They hovered in the air like they were reaching for me, but I wasn't there. There was history between us, but distance in the frame. Your words didn't land the same. You promised we were okay, said nothing's changed, but reassurance repeated starts sounding strange. I stopped believing Because tone without action feels thin coming through. I confuse familiarity with something real. I didn't know repetition can numb what you feel. Your words didn't land the same, no matter how you tried. They brushed against my surface, but didn't reach inside. I didn't need poetry or something untamed, just words that feel alive, not rehearsed and framed. Maybe we said them too often without checking the ground. Maybe meaning faded without making a sound. Because love isn't language, it's presence and proof. And words alone can't hold the truth. Your words didn't land the same, and that's when I knew something had shifted between me. I won't pretend meaning can't be reclaimed if your words don't land. They've changed. No anger in my tone, no one to blame. Your words didn't land the same. We used to talk for hours, like sleep could wait. Every word felt urgent, like it carried weight. You looked at me like I was something rare to find, back when everything between us was undefined. I don't miss the chaos or the guessing game. I just miss the fire before we learned my name. I miss the way we began, the spark in your eyes, the way we leaned closer without disguise. There was courage in the newness before we tried to plan. I miss the way we began back then. We stopped surprising each other, stopped trying the same, started living safely inside the frame. You said this is normal, that passion will bend, but normal shouldn't feel like the end. I confuse stability with losing that life. I didn't know comfort could dim what felt right. I miss the way we began, when effort felt easy, when loving wasn't heavy or slightly uneasy. I didn't need perfection or something unplanned, just the honesty we had at the start of this end. Maybe beginnings glow because they're brave, because we risk everything without being safe. And somewhere along fighting to feel what we felt back then. I miss the way we began, but I won't live there now, because love has to grow or fade somehow. I remember the spark without pretending we can go back to the way we began. No bitterness left, no need to defend. I just miss the beginning, not how it ends. We used to lean closer every time something hurt, but somewhere along the way, closeness made it worse. Every honest question turned into defense, and love started feeling intense. So I stopped reaching fully, stopped standing so near, because vulnerability brought more fear. The distance felt safer than holding you tight, safer than arguing through the night. There was comfort in space where pain couldn't stir. The distance felt safer than us were. You said I was colder, that I didn't try, but you didn't notice how often I cried. I pulled back slowly, not out of spite, but because staying close didn't feel right. And confused protection with giving up. I didn't know loving could feel this rough. The distance felt safer than begging to be heard, safer than waiting on every word. I didn't need perfection or endless fire, just closeness without walking on wire. Maybe we both built walls without calling them that. Maybe space became easier than asking where we're at. Because when love feels fragile, you got what's left. And sometimes safety means stepping back. The distance felt safer, and that's when I knew if space brings peace more than you do, then something between us is already gone. The distance felt safer, and that's wrong. No anger in the air, no final war. The distance felt feel safer than before. I used to search your silence for something I could find, a hidden reassurance between the lines. Every shift in your tone felt like a sign, and I'd unravel myself trying to read your mind. But questions need answers, and echoes aren't enough. I didn't know how tiring love could get that rough. I stopped asking why you pulled away, why your words felt distant. Day by day, there was peace in surrender. After so much try, I stopped asking why, and that's when I knew goodbye. Stop replaying moments to see where it went wrong. Stop blaming myself for holding on. You said don't overthink it, like that would calm my mind. But clarity shouldn't feel so hard to find. I confused persistence with staying strong. I didn't know chasing answers could last this long. I stopped asking why you couldn't stay present, why loving me felt like an inconvenience. I didn't need perfection or something sky high, just a love that doesn't make me question why. Maybe there is no reason big enough to explain. Maybe sometimes hearts just change, and I don't need a breakdown or some alibi, because silence answers without asking why. I stopped asking why and felt something shift, like setting down weight I couldn't lift. I won't search for meaning in someone else's life. I stopped asking why and chose to walk by. No more late night theories, no more second tries. I stopped asking why, and that was my goodbye. There wasn't a final fight, no slam door goodbye, just fewer reasons to ask each other why. We still share the same room, still said goodnight, was something in the silence wasn't right. I thought if there's no chaos, there's nothing to fear. I didn't see distance growing here. We didn't break loudly, no dramatic fall, just a slow unraveling of it all. There was space in the quiet we never called. We didn't break loudly, we just stalled. We stopped finishing sentences, stopped touching the same, started living parallel inside the same frame. You said we're still okay, and maybe we were, but okay can't hide what words don't blur. I confused calm water with something secure. I didn't know stillness could mean unsure. We didn't break loudly, but I felt the shift in the weight of your hand and the way it slipped. I didn't need shouting to know we were done. Some endings whisper instead of run. Maybe we thought if it didn't explode, it would somehow hold, but quiet fractures still divide, even when pride stays inside. We didn't break loudly, and that's what stayed. No clear-cut moment, just love that frayed. I won't ignore silence when it feels this strongly. We didn't break loudly, but we were gone already. No villain to blame, no one to call. We didn't break loudly, but we broke after all. When you stopped showing up, the room felt wide, like space had a weight I couldn't hide. I thought I'd fall apart without your voice. Didn't know silence could be a choice. There's a clarity that comes when someone leaves, not in what they say, but what that reveals. Your absence taught me something more than staying could. It showed me what I needed and what love should. It wasn't loud or sudden, just truth unfolding slow. Your absence taught me something, and now I know. learned I won't beg for someone unsure. The presence matters more than promises pure. I learned that loneliness can sharpen sight, that missing someone doesn't make them right. I confuse attachment with something meant to last. I didn't know distance could clear the past. I didn't know distance could clear the past. Your absence taught me something about balance and bridge, about choosing peace over almost instead. I didn't need perfection or something grand, just someone who stays when I reach out my hand. Maybe you never meant to be the lesson I learned, but loss has a way of making you turn. And sometimes the leaving is what makes it clear what I'll no longer accept when love appears. Your absence taught me something, and I carry it now. Now bitterness or blame, just a stronger vow. I won't fear an ending if it protects my becoming. Your absence taught me something, and I'm grateful for something. No anger in my tone, no need to rewind. Your absence taught me something, and I'm better this time. Ooh. Ooh. I don't wanna love that fate when comfort settles in, that falls asleep in routine and calls that a win. I felt what it's like to reach and not be met, to speak from my chest and be answered with not yet. I'm not asking for chaos or constant flame, just something alive that won't deal with change. I want a love that stays away, that listens when I speak, that leans into the silence when the moment's weak. Not something that drifts when feelings elevate. I want a love that stays away. I want someone steady when growth feels loud, not threatened by death or boundaries allowed. If we're gonna build this, let it breathe and expand. Let it hold my question without slipping my head. I've learned what happens when effort goes late. I won't call distant the twist of fate. I want a love that stays away through ordinary day, through disagreements and changing ways. I don't need perfection or some dramatic display, just someone present who chooses to stay. Maybe that kind of love takes time to find, two people aware and emotionally aligned. But I'd rather wait than repeat old mistakes, because sleeping love always these breaks. I want a love that stays away, and I won't settle for less. Not a half-hearted maybe, or emotional yes. I've outgrown the quiet where effort was shame. I want a love that stays away for my sake. My sake. No fear in my voice, no walls to remain. I want a love that stays away, and I'm ready to wait. Felt what leaving feels like. Watched love slip through my hands. Heard silence answer louder than broken plans. I've sat with empty evenings, let the ache sink in, but none of it has hardened what lives within. Pain didn't close me, it just made me see that loving deeply still belongs to me. I'm still capable of loving deeply, even after goodbye, even after nights I question why my heart didn't shatter into something weak. I'm still capable of loving deeply, and that's my strength. I won't confuse caution with building walls. I won't let fear make me small. I've learned what I need, what I won't repeat, but depth is a language I still speak. I won't let endings rewrite my core. Love isn't a risk I'll close the door for. I'm still capable of loving deeply without losing myself, without overgiving or shelving my health. I don't need perfection or something flashy, just something steady and emotionally ready. Maybe it's brave to stay this open, to believe in connection after it's broken. But I'd rather feel fully than numb and retreat, because loving deeply is still me. Oh, maybe it's brave to stay this open, to believe in connection after it's broken. But I'd rather feel fully than numb and retreat, because loving deeply is still me. I'm still capable of loving deeply, and I won't apologize for wanting something mutual with open eyes. I've healed without closing, I've grown without I'm still capable of loving deeply. And I